this skill that you're cultivating right now is so transferable.
It is.
This communication skill.
Yeah.
Right? The ability to just walk up to someone and open up dialogue.
Yeah.
And if there was anything else that you would possibly be doing for work, what would that be?
I've asked myself that quite a few times before, and I have absolutely no idea. That's why.
You created a situation where you have no idea what you're gonna do, and you need to. This is all you got.
Yeah, like there's no plan B for me.
George is back for round 2.
Round 2.
Welcome, buddy.
Thank you.
How
Thank
are
you for having me back.
How's the pandemic? Hey, I mean, I can't thank you enough for coming through for Thanksgiving.
Oh yeah, of course, of course.
You've definitely, and I'm sure everyone that you've touched say this, but you've definitely left like an impression on everyone. And the fact that it was with friends and family just made it that much more special.
Yeah, that was a very fun performance. I was just watching the footage from it the other day. I
was like, when is this footage going to come out?
Yeah, I've got so much footage to put out and edit, a ridiculous amount.
Okay.
So I actually go back to Detroit tomorrow, and I'll be there till Friday. So I'll be at home working on all of that.
You're doing this all by yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I've got... my videographers that help me, Juan.
Yeah, who is off camera. Juan is here, gracing us with his presence.
Yes.
But as far as editing goes,
yes,
you don't outsource that, right?
I don't. And I think the reason for that now is just because I save so much money doing it myself. And I'm also very particular about what I put out and, how I put it out. I know I'll get to the point where I won't have the time to edit my own stuff,
right?
But then I'll have the money to have other people edit my stuff too.
One day, right? So you can just keep focusing on what really gets you going. Yeah.
Right, of course. Okay. But ideally, I just want to focus on the magic, Right. I don't have a manager or anything right now. I don't.
Is that something you hope to have one day?
Yeah, absolutely, of course. So I'm doing everything.
Are you surprised by how far you've gotten without a manager?
Yeah. I would say so. Yeah. I mean, when we last spoke, which was 2019, a lot has happened since that. Things have advanced quite a bit. So
even in 2019, you had a level of mastery under your belt. What do you think has changed since then? It's almost been 3 years. So what do you think has changed?
Well, I think a lot better performer now. I try to get better every single day. I'm probably do something equivalent to 6 hours a day just working on material. At least I try to. Now that I'm performing a lot more and I have a lot more responsibilities like editing and promoting myself and reaching out to clients and sending emails and all of that. That definitely takes a lot of time. But I still try and work on stuff as much as I can, at least 3 hours a day.
Sure.
But I try to shoot for 6. That's hard now.
Yeah.
But yeah, between now and 2019, a lot better performer. I've done a lot more performances. I do it full time now. I wasn't full time in 2019.
What were you doing before then? For money, like for a day job? What were you doing before then?
So I wasn't really doing anything.
Wow.
So I was still in school.
Okay.
So I had my meals and everything from school and everything. I was living on campus.
Okay.
And summer 2019, I was living with my then videographer. We don't work together anymore, but I was living with him at his parents' house. So that was the year of like getting the LLC and trademarking my logo and really doing all those official business things.
Yeah.
So that was what 2019 was like. And then shooting, I was out doing street magic a lot, but I didn't start performing consistently at all until end of 2019. And then 2020 pandemic hit in March, which
I remember you doing like virtual shows.
Yeah, so
you did those very well.
Yeah, so they helped me a lot. So I went home in March of 2020. So I came from school back to Detroit. I went to my mom's house. I was staying with my mom, during the my mom and dad. But I went to my mom's house first, straight from school. So I was living in her basement. I was really not doing much for the first few weeks.
Yeah.
And then I was like, you know what? I don't know how long this pandemic is gonna last. I don't know, when I'm gonna be able to start performing in person again. And I really want to be performing. So then,
did you have a quarter life crisis at a point?
I wouldn't go as far as to say it was
Okay.
a crisis. But those, me just wanting to perform and not knowing how long the pandemic was going to last, which inspired the virtual show. So the idea behind the virtual show was for it to be completely interactive. I thought people watching me do things through a screen wouldn't be good enough. Like I wanted people to be doing things on their side just as, I'm doing things on my side. So it was a completely interactive mentalism show. So I was having people, on their phone go on, Wikipedia and search something relevant to them and, thinking of a word from within the article and then telling them, that like stuff like that where they're doing stuff on their end. I had people do a lot of stuff with their phone and it was crazy.
That's the thing is like, sometimes maybe someone might assume that just because it's close-up magic that you had some sleight of hand or something at play.
Yeah.
But that now you're not even in the same location and you're still blowing people's minds.
Yeah. And I think for a lot of people it was, like even more impressive to a degree because it's like, all right, I'm thousands of miles away from you and so how are you knowing this information? So but like I said, the virtual shows helped me a lot, changed my life actually.
Really? Okay.
I a lot of the things I did virtually led to some of my biggest opportunities in person now.
And how did you how did people find you for these virtual shows?
Yeah, so when I first started them, I literally went on Instagram
or was it
and
IG Live. You were doing some IG Lives.
I did
too.
do a couple Instagram Lives.
Okay.
We'll get into that.
Okay.
But I literally just started off, like I went on Instagram and I was just DMing like a bunch of my followers and, people that I followed saying, hey, like I'm starting this virtual show in a couple weeks. Like it's free. I was doing it for free. I was like, it's free. I just want to do some magic and, record it. It'll be through Zoom. All you'll need is a deck of cards and your phone, et cetera, et cetera. And so I think I started them May 14th. I think this is the 1 year anniversary of when I first started the virtual or 2 year anniversary.
2 years, yeah.
Of when I first started the virtual shows.
That's crazy.
And so I just went down the list and I was DMing, sent lots of DMs and set it up with people. And so I think the first month I did like 30 or 40 virtual shows, but people, were very keen to do it.
They're still like what, 45 to an hour set, like
an hour,
right?
So, but people were very keen on doing them because, it wasn't costing anyone any money, and people were so bored. It's like, like I would love to see some virtual.
So magic was still uniting everyone.
Yeah. And so the first few months, so from May to July, I was doing them pretty consistently, all for free. I was just doing them. And I didn't start charging anything for them until like maybe middle of August when they started to get to a level that I was very comfortable with, and I was like, okay, this is good.
Yeah,
like
the demand was there.
Yeah, and I was confident because it was trial and error for the first couple of months of doing them. I was still figuring things out as I was doing them, and making adjustments based off of how the shows were going. And it's like, okay, maybe I should do this instead of that, or maybe I should so a lot of trial and error. And then it got to a place where I was very confident with them and was confident in actually charging for them. And so then I got to doing corporate stuff virtually. So it was kind of like a word of mouth thing, like people saying, hey, like this magician's doing virtual shows, it's really good, you should do this. So word kind of spread out, and I was also posting videos on social media, so people were seeing them that way too.
Yeah.
But it really did change my life. My reach expanded. I was doing stuff for people outside of the country, across the country. I think I hit people in Germany, Belize, Brazil.
How do you think they found it?
So I remember one that I did where people were all over the country. I think they found me. How did they find me? I think it was just word of mouth. Like someone I did a show for told someone, and then they told someone, and they told someone, and eventually just found these people.
Yeah.
But like I said, my reach expanded so much, and then it also allowed me to have a virtual show under my belt.
Yeah.
Like just be able to do stuff for people virtually. I started doing stuff for people over FaceTime. Obviously Zoom.
Was that the first time you did something like a performed for corporate group?
Virtually?
I guess in general.
No, I had done some corporate stuff before.
Okay.
Not as much as I'm doing now.
Yeah.
But I definitely had done some corporate stuff before, but I did a lot virtually.
So the tough question is like, when you start setting up contracts, is it a different price point for contract or for corporate versus private events?
So
because they probably have the budget for it.
Yeah. So I have my normal price that I start with that corporate companies definitely have the budget for.
Right. Right.
But not always do people have the budget for it when it's like a birthday party, private party, whatever.
Absolutely.
So I work with people on the price, and I just kind of go down from my starting point if I need to.
Are you ever do you ever fear it being too high and you push them away and just lose the client? Or do you, in your own head, are you confident enough that you're okay to let them go if they can't meet that price point, and that someone else will come in?
Yeah, that's actually funny you brought that up, because that was something I was not struggling with but thinking about, because there were occasions where I would let someone know my rate and this, and it was like we don't have the budget for it, but like maybe next time. And then that's what made me, when I send emails out to people, that's what made me kind of think like, okay, maybe I should say I can work with budgets if need be, because I'm not I wasn't at a place where I was getting super consistent gigs.
Sure.
So to turn something down because it's $50, $100 less than
right.
what I would want it to be, just didn't make sense to me, because I was trying
to just
get
lose
out
it completely,
there.
right?
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
So yeah, that's a lot of self-awareness of like, could you afford to lose this? What place are you in? And that's kind of like me with photography right now. It's not my day job, but when someone doesn't meet my quote, it's not what I need to keep providing for food on the table or a roof over my head.
Right.
So it's nice to be in that position. And if I were to guess from an outsider's perspective, you're in that position of confidence and comfort to where like you have a price, and if someone can't meet it, well, maybe we can work together next time.
Yeah. I'm more comfortable doing that now. I think most of the time I still try to work with them, unless it's just like so low, it's like not even,
Yeah.
But I 2021, like last year, was the year that things really went upwards.
And what do you think was the tipping point for that? Was it because people were starting to host events again?
Yeah, I think people were well, a couple things. I really made like a social media push last year, so I was at the point where I felt very well, because like from 2018 to, which is when I first decided to pursue magic professionally, 2018 to 2020-ish, I was still really kind of honing my craft as a magician, and I wasn't really comfortable pushing all the content out that I had, because I knew there was still a lot of room for improvement. So I was kind of like holding back in a way, just because I wanted it to be better.
Would you describe yourself as a perfectionist, or do you realize that there's like a good enough kind of level?
Yeah, I would. Perfectionist with magic, with performing magic, for sure. Most definitely. With not in all aspects of life, but with magic and with video editing. I'm a perfectionist.
Sure. Yeah.
So what were we I lost my train of thought. What made me think
like,
of that?
What was your tipping point? Like how you had to push for social media?
Yes. So I was putting out a lot of videos on social media that were, really good in my standards, and other people found it to be really good as well. So I think that content mixed with coming out of the pandemic and people really looking for that entertainment and for because during the pandemic, especially during lockdown, I felt like everyone was just kind of like going crazy in a sense,
Absolutely.
not having that interaction and not being outside. So I think the need for that entertainment and also the content I was putting
People
out
are
on
seeking
social
novelty
media.
and seeking awe.
Yeah, yeah,
Right?
yeah. So I think April of 2021 started, like, because March I still wasn't really doing in-person stuff. April is when I really started doing in-person things. So, April I had like a decent amount of gigs, and then May I did, but then in June, July, August.
Every time I see you, George, you're on the move. Whether it's in Detroit, Chicago, you've flown to LA, it's just like, what? Like, you're always doing something.
Yeah, I try to be. It's a grind. I'm not where I want to be yet, so I'm always.
So you're just seizing the opportunity.
Yeah, I'm always ready to perform.
You're definitely saying more yes than no these days.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay.
I rarely say no.
Okay.
Like, I only say no if it's like, if I
like a schedule conflict essentially.
Yeah, schedule conflict, or if like their budget is just so low, like I can't even.
Right.
But yeah, definitely saying yes a lot more than I'm saying no. But it's June, July, August of 2021 were like crazy. Just like I was doing so many. I think I did 22 shows in July alone last year, and that was like the best month I ever had in terms of performing. And so 2021 is when it became like full time.
Okay.
And I graduated in May.
Nice.
And then in May of 2021, and then in July I moved into my place, into my own spot. And between that, I was
in
like
Chicago.
Yeah, in Chicago.
Yeah.
And between that, because I was going back and forth between Detroit and Chicago and staying at a friend's place when I was here, and so it was very hectic because I was doing so many gigs, but I didn't have a spot of my own, so I was like trying to crash with friends. And
hey, it's a story to tell.
Yeah, absolutely. So 2021 was the year. I call it. I still haven't put this YouTube video out because I have so much editing to do, but my 2021 recap video, I called it George Stanton Celebrating Magic 2021, a year of growth, because that's what it was, like a very big year of growth for me. I mentioned I stopped working with the videographer that I was previously working with. So after that happened, I bought all my own camera equipment, and my plan was just to have all my own equipment, camera, mics, everything. And I started working with my sister a lot because she's also a photographer. She's a creative as well. And I taught her how to like shoot my stuff, and I just was giving her the equipment to use. I started looking for, because I ideally would want like between 6 and 7 videographers, because like Juan, he's great and really great, but I would try to have people so that in case things come up for people, then I can call this person. I'd be like, okay, or if that person's not available, I can call this person. Sure. So I thought it was a good move to have all my own camera equipment just to have, and if I need to recruit people and teach them how to shoot my stuff, I can have the equipment to give to them, and so on and so forth. So yeah, 2021, that was a big year.
When you're editing the footage, especially for social media, something that has to fit within 15, 30, 60 seconds, how are you laying the material out? Because you essentially have 1 to 1.5 seconds to hook someone in so they watch the rest of your 60-second video.
Yeah.
Are you putting the reaction in the very beginning?
So that was that's been an ongoing experiment. It's very, very tough for me to fit the magic that I do within a minute, because it's a performance. It's not doing something super visual for someone real quick and just it's done,
Right.
It's a whole performance. So that has been something for me that I've been experimenting with, like trying to put the reaction first and see if that hooks people, because a lot of the stuff that I was putting out on Instagram was more than a minute. So I'd like break it up. You know how you have to have the 2 slides and you slide over.
Carousels,
and,
yeah.
So you'd like finish watching the first part, then you slide over and watch the second
Gotcha.
part. Yeah, that's been an ongoing
But you're on
experiment.
TikTok too.
And I'm on TikTok.
How's TikTok? Because that one, you said one of your videos like blew up.
Yeah, so one of them really, and it was one that I did not expect to blow up at all.
Why do you think it blew up?
So TikTok is interesting. It's the like you said, you've got to hook someone like right in the beginning so that they watch it.
We just do some mindless scroll, right?
Yeah. So I think there was things in it because I didn't put the reaction first or anything in front of that video. So it was a 2-minute long video, but I think it's at like 350,000 views now. But I think what it was about that video, there was something that happened in the beginning, something kind of funny that happened in the beginning that I think maybe grabbed people and made people want to watch it. But it was also, I think, the scene. So I was doing something for a group of guys, and there were like 4 or 5 guys, and I was standing kind of in the middle of them. And I think that scene alone, when it comes to TikTok and magic on TikTok and actually like performing for people, I don't think a lot of magicians on TikTok actually like perform for people. Like I think it's more so like doing visual stuff for the camera, or like kind of like silly skits and stuff like that. So I think it was like kind of the scene itself, like, okay, this guy's doing magic for 5 people, and then something kind of funny happened in the beginning of it. I'll show it to you. And then it was a very good effect. Like it was basically something where I gave someone $1 in the beginning to hold on to, and then someone pulled out their calculator, and
I love that trick.
And okay, so you know what I'm talking about.
Well, you did it at the things, I think.
Oh, okay, yes,
where you were able to spit out the number on the
serial
dollar,
number on the dollar, and then the time on the watch. Yeah, so you know what I'm talking about. So I was doing that effect.
Okay, that takes time.
Yeah, so that's why it was 2 minutes, and I had to like really cut it down. I had to be very to even get it to 2 minutes.
Right.
But yeah, that one was the one that really blew up. I think I got 8,000 followers on TikTok from that one video. But I think it's also because I've seen a lot of stuff on TikTok blow up and get millions of views, but that not also factor into that user's followers. But I think with like a magician, it's like, okay, I want to see more like this, so I'm going to follow them. And so I think that
I think, and it's so hard to take my own advice, but what takes precedence even over how you format a reel or a TikTok is consistency.
Yes.
So if you can commit to a post a day at least, some people do multiple posts a day, but if you can commit to a post a day, then you're giving people a reason to follow you.
Yeah.
But also if you're congruent, if you have like 4 to 5 things you stick to, whether it's a breakdown of a performance, whether it's reactions, whether it's the actual performance, whatever it is, if you stick to those 4 things, people have an expectation of what they'll get when they follow you.
Right. And that's something that I've also have struggled with, is the consistency of putting stuff out, which is
like you have the content.
Yes.
Right? You have the content.
Ridiculous amount of content. But I'm also performing so much, and after I'm performing, I'm so tired. This is
that bottleneck of maybe it's time to outsource.
I know,
right?
I know. It's something I'm really thinking about. I know I'm gonna have to do it.
So whether it's doing more shows or raising your prices so you can afford to hire an editor.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So that's something, that consistency is something I'm gonna be working on. Going forward throughout the whole summer, because I think that really consistency is key. And I think that would go a long way for me, consistently seeing magic that you not used to seeing, and that, because people always say like, oh, like it's like the way you perform and the type of magic you do, like I've never really seen it done this way, or I haven't seen things like that. So
yeah.
I think consistently hitting people with things that are kind of like a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
For them, and it being really good, and consistency is something I'm trying to work on
Me
a
too,
lot
man.
going
Me too.
forward.
It's hard to take my own advice.
Yeah, I agree with it 100%.
And so out of the last couple of years, do you have a favorite event or performance that you do? Because I've told you this before, but I admire how you have this variety. Most people, as they're moving up the ladder in life, you start entering different groups of people. And so whether that's performing for a celebrity, a musician, or for people at Soho House, you still come back to the Thanksgiving dinners. You still come back to the birthday parties, right?
Yeah.
So is there a favorite, or street magic, like is there a favorite setting or event that you really enjoy performing for, or is it really kind of equal?
Yeah, I think it's pretty equal. You know, I love performing. Like, that's what I love. So I don't care if it's for, you know, this celebrity, or if I'm doing street magic and I do someone homeless on the street. Like, I get the same enjoyment.
That could be a whole series, George.
Yeah.
That could be a series.
It could.
Imagine what type of people could use that awe in their life right now.
Yeah.
And for someone who lives on the streets, they probably don't even have someone that asks how they're doing.
Right.
So to be able to spend your time with them and just create some spark for them, some magic for them, that to some could mean a lot more than other people.
Absolutely. So, you know, like I said, whether it's this celebrity or someone on the street or street magic, you know, I love performing. So I get the same enjoyment out of that, no matter who I'm performing for or where or whatever the case is. I think my favorite setting is street magic. And that's just because, you know, it's just so unpredictable.
It's so
genuine.
Yeah.
It's very, you know, you don't know who you're going to run into. You don't know what it can lead to. Like, it's just you're just out in the world and you're just going up to people. Like, I love interacting with people. That's, you know, that's the whole, like, as you know, magic unites everybody, you know, the whole, you know, it not mattering, you know, what, I don't even think that's a word, mattering. But it doesn't, you know, it doesn't matter, you know, what your race or religion, gender, you know, financial status, sexuality, nothing. Like, magic breaks all of that, and that's my favorite thing about it. And, you know, interacting with so many different types of people, and, you know, also interacting with something that I'm very passionate about, you know, using my passion and interacting with them. And
if for some reason, and I hate to put this out in the world, but magic did not pan out, this skill that you're cultivating right now is so transferable.
It is.
This communication skill.
Yeah.
Right? The ability to just walk up to someone and open up dialogue.
Yeah.
And if there was anything else that you would possibly be doing for work, what would that be?
I've asked myself that quite a few times before, and I have absolutely no idea. That's why.
You've created a situation where you have no idea what you're going to do, and you need to, this is all you got.
Yeah, like there's no plan B for me. Like, I know that sounds kind of like weird to say, but I'm very, you know, like, for me, like, I have that mindset where, like, this is it. Like, I'm going to make this work. Like, I'm gonna do what I want to do with this, and there is no plan B, which, you know, could arguably maybe be not so good of a mindset for some people, and, you know, for other people, it's like, yeah, like, I think that's great.
You'll get there when you get there.
Yeah. But, you know, I wish I could answer that question. I have no clue. There's nothing I can think of that would give me as much enjoyment or any enjoyment doing, you know, full time as performing magic.
So that leads me to this next segment of how often are you throwing new tricks into the mix? When was the last time you impressed yourself?
Pretty recently, I would say, just because I'm currently working on some new stuff. But no, I think, like I said,
like, do you ever get tired? Do you ever get tired of the same routines, or do you feel like you're always getting better with each routine?
Yeah, no, I never feel tired doing any of the same stuff, because there's always room for improvement with, you know, everything. So a lot of the stuff that, you know, I do on a regular basis, like, I'm still, you know, not satisfied with. Like, I'm
Oh.
satisfied with it enough to perform it and, put it out and, be happy with it. But, like I said, there's always room for improvement. So I'm always like trying to make things better or think of new ways to present something, or, there's and that's what I love also about magic. There's so much creative freedom. Like, it's there's no specific way to perform it or no specific things that you have to do. Obviously I have my own philosophy on magic and how I think it should be performed, that suits me, and but it's very it's a very creative
it's open-ended,
freedom.
right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
open-ended. That's
Yeah.
what I was trying to think of.
Yeah, it's very liberating. It's open-ended. Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, obviously I like to perform it the way that I do, which is more so and it's also reflective of my personality. I'm a very relaxed performer, and like I said, number one, that's very reflective of my personality, but it's also ties into me wanting it to be believable. So I always thought that if there were magicians or warlocks and wizards walking around the earth and showing people what they do, there wouldn't be like any theatrics to it. Like, it wouldn't be like, oh, let me do this and the whole, like the whole thing.
Yeah. You're so
it would
nonchalant.
it would be very, like, okay, I'm gonna do this and here and then boom, and so
you're letting the audience come to their own conclusion.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah.
Right? And that's kind of what I do with the students, is like, I don't give them the answers. I give them a path to arrive at the answers.
Right. So,
and I think it hits home even harder when they're the ones that realize what just happened.
Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, I always thought that, and not to say that being a theatrical performer is a bad thing at all. Like, I know so many great performers that are very theatrical and, but for me, believability is a big thing. And I always felt like doing that or performing in that way takes the believability down, and it makes it feel more like a trick rather than magic. And I don't want people to think that I'm trying to say I have like powers or anything like that. No, it's all learnable, and it's hours and hours of
Although the
practice and
mentalism thing, I have no idea how you do that, George.
Yeah. Well, that's a different story. But yeah, believability is huge. So when people walk away from me performing, like, I always like to I want people to think of it as like an experience. So when I hear people say like, oh, like you gotta like hire George, like it's such a great experience, and I use that word, I know that
that you did a good job.
Yeah, I'm doing what I'm setting out.
Are you on Google, George?
I don't think so. Well, I think maybe if you Google...
Get this man on Google.
I think maybe if you Google George Stanton, like George Stanton Magic might come up.
Yeah, but you got to have people writing Google reviews. The power of Google, man.
Oh, yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
if it's not there yet.
Yeah. No, it's not. No one's doing Google reviews. I should do that. But yeah, so the believability is a big thing for me. And
are there any other tenets that kind of are part of the GS Magic persona? Like, besides believability, like, are there any other things that are your fundamentals?
Yeah. So believability is a big thing, obviously. And then going to the types of things that I do, like the different magic effects that I do, I mean, it kind of ties into the believability thing too, but I don't like to do things that seem like super gimmicky. And that's one of the reasons why I like mentalism so much, because it's like, and also ties into the experience and believability thing, but it's with mentalism, it's like, does he actually read minds? Like, is he actually doing what it looks like he's doing, or is there is there a way that he got this information, but how would he have gotten this information beforehand, type of thing.
What are some of the common excuses that you've heard people say? Things like, oh, George talked to this person before the event. Like, anything else like that?
People try to make sense of it, even though they know that that's not really like people throw out stuff and try and make sense of it, and they'll know like no, that's not how that works. Like, but one thing, I do this thing where I like get into someone's phone or unlock their phone, and I remember I was showing my this guy, he designed my website. His name is Dan, and I was showing him a video of me, unlocking people's phones, and he was like, "Oh, I know how you do that," and I was like, "How do I do it?" And he's like, "Oh, it's easy. Like, you just stand behind someone and watch them enter in their password, and then you come back to them, and boom, now you know their password." And I'm like, "I guess that's a way that you could do that, but that's not how that works." So, yeah, I mean, people come up with their own, silly
And that's
things
something
that they
I'll
try
kind
to.
of admire, how close-knit the magic world is in a way. It's like these secrets are kind of guarded very tightly.
Yeah, very much so. And I think it stems from you just put in so much work working on it, and it's like the amount of work that you put into it to be able to do it as well as you do. Like you don't want to give that away. Like that was so many hours or months or years of your life to just tell someone, okay, yeah, this is, and that's why I always say I think magicians, the ones who create these principles and effects, like there got to be some of the smartest people in the world. Like the thinking is just so ingenious behind.
What other principles, it's not just magic, it's like psychology and behavior,
yep.
and things like that,
Yep.
right? So like what other concepts do you kind of study, or what should a magician study to fine tune or round out their skills?
Yeah, so psychology plays a big part. I learned a lot from just watching other magicians that I admire. So David Blaine, obviously, I've watched so much of him, and I've learned so much from him just by watching him perform. Never met him, hopefully I will, but never met him, and just watching him and understanding, having knowledge on, how something works, but, watching him perform and then seeing him use certain there's this book, it's called Psychological Subtleties.
Okay.
It's by this mentalist, his name is Banachek.
Mm.
But it's an amazing book that really dives really deep into the psychology and like your mindset as a magician and things of that nature. But
Is one of the main principles, like I've never read the book, but is it like actions speak louder than words? Like, are you paying attention to what people say or do?
In a sense, but there's it's really like different things or psychological subtleties, as he puts it, that take the performance to the next level. Like and we were talking about the class that David Blaine is doing. He talks a lot about that, like your mindset and the different things that you can add to a performance to take it to the next level. And really it's just so interesting. Like it's and that's one of the things that I love about magic is just the methods behind it. Like I was saying, it's just so
It's deep,
ingenious.
Right?
It's so it's things that you would never ever think about, like ever. So it's
So what else? What else besides psychology? And if you can go, like, what kind of psychology? Is it cognitive psychology, behavioral psychology?
It could be. It's both. I think people sometimes. So I do this thing where I have. Oh, I don't need to explain it, but I have someone like repeat. So I'll say, repeat after me, ace 2 3, and they'll say ace 2 3, and I'll do 4 5 6 7 8 9 10, and they'll repeat after me.
Yeah.
And sometimes things like that are used to throw someone off. Like it has absolutely nothing to do. Like the method has absolutely nothing to do with speech or your behavior. But doing stuff like that can really throw someone off into thinking that it's this or it's whatever.
Like a misdirection.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, so there's the psychology. So David Blaine, he describes magic as like a logic puzzle. So it's and this really kind of applies to if something goes wrong, like you kind of just jazz it out, and you kind of just keep going until you make it work.
Has that happened to you?
Yeah. Most definitely.
And have you been able to round it out?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
I think now it's I've kind of thought about every way that something could go wrong, and then knowing what I would do in that situation.
Do the sunglasses help?
Oh, with the
You're like, oh shit.
No, I mean, I'm pretty calm now if because I'll obviously realize something went wrong before.
Gotcha.
And so usually I'm able to recover in a way that you wouldn't even know something went wrong. But it's interesting when those things happen, because now that really, tests you. It's okay. So how are you going to recover from this? And it's just kind of quick thinking.
Yeah.
And having that out. But yeah, it's definitely a lot of psychology, a lot of really just studying human behavior. Like there's things that I've noticed that I haven't seen any magicians talk about, where I'll just like noticed during performance, like someone, like their behavior, which leads to, how do I explain it? Like there's things I've noticed during performances about people, like consistently, that lets me know that like this is gonna happen during this effect. Like I it's kind of hard to explain without like explaining it.
You can read people.
Yeah, so in a sense, like reading people, but it's like stuff that I've noticed just off of performing so many times, and it's like, okay, this person is most likely gonna say this because I noticed she did this, and the last couple times these people did this too. So now, I mean, magic is always about, you're always a few steps ahead, but things like that can put you even farther
miles ahead. Yeah. I understand.
So human behavior for sure.
Do any other books come to mind besides Psychological Subtleties?
Yeah. There's this magician. You actually shared with me on.
How do you say his name?
Asi Win.
Asi Win.
Is
he in Chicago?
He's not. He's in New York.
New York.
But he put out a book. I'm not gonna say what the name of it is.
Dang! It's a secret book?
Well, it's not secret.
Like he doesn't even. Oh, so does he share it?
Yeah. No, like it's yeah, but it's like one of the best magic books ever.
Is it worth like $1,000 on Amazon?
Yeah, I think it's
because it's such limited print, or
it might not even be on Amazon. Honestly, it's like one of those books that like you wouldn't know where to find unless you were a magician type of thing. Like I have a lot of books that like I just like, I don't want people to know about.
Sure.
But he put out a book.
It kind of feels like you guys are the Illuminati.
It has that feeling. There's definitely that feeling. But he put out a book that I love. That like he's one of the best. Like I told you, he's one of my favorite magicians. I think he's top 3 in the world.
Okay. What about him makes him top 3?
So it's his thinking, when it comes to, because he creates a lot of effects. So it's his thinking. His magic IQ is up here, and that's something that I love about David Blaine too. His magic IQ is just so high. So it's his ingenious thinking. It's how he performs.
Both of these, they're just like you, kind of like very well composed, and they're not very theatrical.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say, yeah, I wouldn't describe him as a theatrical performer. I think he's like more theatrical than like a David Blaine, maybe a little bit, but he's not like a theatrical performer. But it's his thinking, it's how he performs, it's the believability of what he's doing. It's quite a few things, but believability is like that number one thing for me that like for me is just so important, which ties back into the, leaving people feeling like they had an experience rather
Mm-hmm.
than they just watched a magic trick.
Mm-hmm. Isn't it just sidebar? Isn't it very powerful to know how to pace an experience? Like you can probably gauge, oh, I'm going too fast, or I should slow it down.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's like with the creative freedom. Like it's like, like there's stuff that I've just like, based off of a certain person that I'm performing for, I'm like, okay, I feel like I should, do this instead of this with this person because, they're kind of showing me this. Like it's, like there's no like set way to perform.
No.
Like sometimes maybe speeding it up and going a little bit faster would work well with some people rather than with others. So
that's what keeps it interesting.
Yeah, it's a very in the moment type of thing.
Right.
Like it might be better for you to go this route, a different route than the route that you're that you go most of the time.
So have you ever experienced burnout?
I don't think so. I think that's like pretty extreme, right? Like burned out, like
yeah, or like tired of the same routine. Have you ever felt stuck in a routine?
No.
Okay.
Not with magic. I don't think so.
Okay.
That's
great.
I don't think so.
That's good because it feels like you're putting the reps in over and over again. So I was just wondering if you did, and it'd be normal if you did.
Yeah. And maybe I will. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, but I feel like you're just you either are improving that current set or finding ways to add to the set.
Yeah.
So where are you currently finding inspiration these days? Because it's easy to get stuck in that routine of perform, edit.
Yeah.
What are you doing to fill your own cup,
Yeah. Well, I think it's also different because it's not like you're performing for the same person,
true.
So many times.
Okay.
So I think the fact that it's just a variety of people like all the time is probably something that helps with that. But in terms of, my inspiration these days, it could be a lot of things. I'm always watching other magicians and, watching performances and whatnot, and we'll get inspired by maybe something that they did that sparks an idea.
Mm-hmm.
Or sometimes I get inspired by just watching old footage. Like, okay, like it's actually really hard for me to watch old footage now, like back in like 2018, 2019. Yes, because of the cringe. Like you really see the growth.
Because you posted, I think you did like a before and after not too long ago. You'd like you probably posted it to your stories of like, this is the first time I did street magic.
Oh,
it was
okay.
Like downtown, I think.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep.
Hey, I'm one of your top fans, George.
I would try to remember. Yeah, I think because it was like the first. Yeah, it was the first time I ever did street magic, and it went terribly. It was
terribly
awful. How? Well, I wasn't a good performer. So this was January 2018.
Wow. It's not that long ago,
which
George.
makes me think. Yeah, which makes me think like. Because this is winter, so now it's like I can't really perform in the cold because my hands get super stiff, and it makes me think like, how was I performing in that colder weather? But anyway, yeah, so it was January 2018, and I was just starting out, so I didn't have a lot of material. I wasn't a good performer. I wasn't used to performing for people. Like it took us so long to even build up the nerve to approach someone. Sure. Because it was like, it's just like a weird thing, like approaching someone random on the street and asking them, can I show you some magic? Like, like the looks that you get is like, it's just kind of like nerve wracking, Now it's
along the same vein. I get the nerves, but I feel like I want to walk up to people and take their picture just to get my reps in of like, hey, you and your significant other look cute today. Can I take some of your photos?
Yeah.
But I would love to have a wand, have that to just have some content like that.
Yeah.
And then it's putting the reps in, and then eventually word of mouth, hey, Victor does take decent photos, hire him.
Yeah.
But it's putting the reps in.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's no other way around it, right?
Absolutely no other way around it. And now, because now it's second nature, you know, like I can't even remember the last time I got nervous for performing for anything like so long, but it's because I've done it like so many times, like it's just the reps just over and over and over and over and over again, and building that confidence. But
do you ever get nervous for certain people?
No.
like artists, musicians, celebrities?
Yeah, no. I'm
you don't get starstruck?
I mean, at least I haven't yet. I did last summer.
Or not necessarily starstruck, but understanding the weight of who you're performing for,
right,
and what it could do. But I think the key to that is to not have any expectations, because I've had people with dozens or hundreds of followers, and that shit, it didn't do anything. Yeah. And just going into it with no expectation of anything coming out of it, right, and just doing your best, yeah, and hopefully awing them, like creating wonder for them, just like you do for anyone. Yeah. Is the key takeaway. But I think early on when I first got, like, let's say someone who had 40K on Instagram, I was like, ooh, this is my chance. I'm going to blow up. And it's like, no, you don't blow up. You got to keep putting the reps in. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You know, I never put too much pressure on. I'm a perfectionist, but I don't like put pressure on myself in the sense of like, I've got to do everything perfectly, and I've got to do this perfectly, and I've got to do this and this. Like I don't put pressure on myself like that. Yeah. So, you know, when I'm performing for whoever, I'm trying to think of the last, who was the last? I can't remember the last person, but Joseph Sikora, he plays Tommy on Power. Have you seen Power? I know of it on Stars.
So he's like the main character, super famous. Okay. And I had performed for him in a pretty.
How did these interactions come about?
So, an actor on the show, his name is Chris Lofton. He hired me. He found me through Instagram, and he hired me for his birthday party. Wow. This past June, like June 2021, and you know, there was a lot of, you know, influential people there. There was a bunch of actors and musicians and, you know, whoever, and you know, he has helped me, you know, a lot since then, just like putting me in front of people. So he like had me perform for Freddie Gibbs, who's a
my friend's
rapper.
A big fan. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And then he had me do Joseph Sikora, who's the lead on Power.
That's amazing. Yeah.
And then I was actually supposed to do 50 Cent yesterday. I was this close. He was supposed to be at an event at this club called Bounce. He was hosting a party there.
Oh, wow.
And I actually start a residency at Bounce.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, congrats, man. That's
Thanks.
awesome. That's
it's
huge.
Not really public knowledge, I guess, whatever.
No one listens.
And he just coincidentally, because he does like this thing where he like just goes to different cities and promotes his drink. I think it's called like Branson Cognac or something. But he was just coincidentally going to be at Bounce yesterday. So once I saw that, I had texted Chris, and I was like, Chris, 50 Cent's going to be at Bounce. Like, I'm going to start performing there consistently, like, I really want to try and get in front of him and do magic, So he was like, okay, yeah, like, you know, I'm going to hit him and let him know, and
Wow,
so
I'm going to hit him. You just got to know the right people.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
So it was all ready to go, and then the event got canceled last minute. So that was a huge bummer. Me and Juan were like going over the plan. We were like, you know, I was figuring out this because I assumed I wouldn't have too much time with them, so I was like trying to like
make it count.
Yeah, figure out the best things, the shortest but hardest hitting things to do with them, and going over camera stuff with Juan and everything. So, but yeah, like when I've performed for, you know, any type of celebrity or someone with influence in the past, I've never felt nerves.
You don't come off
except the first time. The first gig I had, Chance the Rapper, was that very first gig ever. Yeah. It was just kind of a coincidence.
You told me this on the first episode.
Oh, did I? Yeah.
He's not really into magic.
Yeah, not really. But yeah, so I mean, I just don't really put any pressure on myself. I think at this point now, I'm, you know, confident enough to know that, you know, I'll do well at every performance, and it's just, you know, just kind of, just, you know, not
put too much pressure.
Yeah, just, you know, doing it.
You don't come off like a clout chaser, but how do you navigate putting yourself in front of the right people, but like authentically?
Yes.
How do you navigate that?
That's the crazy you just asked me that, because I was talking to a friend of mine, because I just in performing, I've come across a lot of people, a lot of influential people or people that know other people that would be, great to get in front of.
Yeah.
But, I've always had a problem, asking people directly, like, oh, I know, so and so, like, do you think you could, help me with, because it doesn't, like, I don't want people to feel like I'm, like trying to use them for anything. Like I prefer for those interactions to happen naturally. For example, last summer, Chris texted me and said, like, this is when I performed for Joseph Sikora, the lead on Power. He was like, hey, we're having a barbecue at Joseph's cousin's house, like come through and you can perform for him there. And I was like, okay, cool, great. Like he thought of me for it. He texted me,
Wow.
now I'm going and I'm there. So I've always just kind of, and this was like a conversation me and my friend were having where he was saying like, yo, you got to be aggressive. Like you have to be aggressive and, be, be bold and, ask these people, for what you want. Cause a lot of people and but it's just been hard for me to do that. Cause it's like, I don't want to, I don't know the word for it, but I don't want to, like,
some people call it dick riding. Some people call it clout chasing. So
yeah,
it's just like,
and even beyond that, just like I don't want people to feel like I'm using them. Like
absolutely.
Because that's never been my intention for anything. I've gotten close enough with Chris where I can bring those things up to him and say like, oh, what do you think? Could you and I'm comfortable doing that.
It's so fascinating because you are very like confident in your ability. You are very confident in the value you provide, but there's this small part, I don't know if imposter syndrome is the right word, but just not feeling good enough maybe, or like what is it that like you just can't ask?
It's not
because you know that you would wow them, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's not feeling good enough. It's just like not,
or just being disingenuous about it.
Yeah, I think it's just like the not wanting people to come off, not wanting it to feel like I'm trying to use them for something.
To get to the next person.
Yeah, and it might not come off, that way to them. But it's hard for me to build
George, you got to use your secret powers to have them arrive at the thought that you want them to think on their own.
Yeah, and that's something that I actually do, because when I had performed for Joseph Sikora on Power, I did this thing for him where I got 50 Cent in it involved. So like I did this thing where like I had a note in my phone and it was like 100 different things pertaining to Joseph. And, I told him, and I searched something on his phone, and I, like, showed his wife. So I searched something on his phone, and it was a picture of 50 Cent. And I just told him, all right, don't look at it, put it in your pocket. And then I told him I'm going to try and pass a number from my thoughts into yours. So when I touch your hand, you're going to say the first number up to 100 that comes to mind. And I touched his hand. He said the number. I can't remember what it was. And I opened a note in my phone, and it was titled Joseph Sikora, his name, a list of things. And the number, let's say he said 17. He went to 17. 17 was 50 Cent. And, I said, remember I searched something in my
foresight? Phone. Oh, my goodness, George.
So that was like me like trying to plant the
seed.
Thought like like maybe I should get him in front of 50 Cent. But like I said, I've always had a problem with just straight up asking people.
You're not alone.
I think it's just because I don't want people to feel like I'm using them for anything, because that wouldn't be my intention, but
if it's meant to happen, it'll happen.
Yeah. So like when the 50 Cent thing almost happened, I was like, all right, because there was an encounter when I was performing in LA that I came across him there too, but I didn't like perform for him or anything. And I was kind of thinking about that, like, was that a missed opportunity? Should I have, whatever? And then it came across, yesterday or the past couple of days, and I was like, all right, that wasn't the right time. This is the right time. And then the event got canceled, and I'm like, so I think things happen when they're supposed to happen. I think it might, for me, like be something where like that one thing happens and like
all it takes is the right thing, and then
and then it just everything like I want just comes, and it's so
yeah.
But I think everything happens when it's supposed to happen. So I haven't really thought too deeply into like trying to use the connections. I mean, I use the connections that I have,
You're in
but
Chicago,
not in a,
George. Is there anyone that you want to, or any type of person you want to collaborate with? Like the one YouTuber that comes to mind, who's from like the suburb of Chicago, is David Dobrik. But
is he? I had no idea where he was
right?
from.
Yeah, he's from Vernon Hills.
Yeah.
But any like, imagine like a food blogger or a food Instagrammer, and they get paid to show up at events. And what if they brought you on at events, right? So is there a type of person that you want to collaborate with that can maybe open up other doors for you?
Yeah,
Did you ever think you'd be performing at Soho?
No.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I'm supposed to start a residency there too.
Jesus, good for you. But one of the last guys, she started her residency as a painter. So she's a painter at one of the hotels in Chicago.
Oh, okay.
So stuff like that, I love. Good for you, man. That's amazing.
And that was something that I had the realization that I should really start trying to pursue, is those residencies.
Okay.
Because that's, consistent performances, like, that are going to happen every week. So it's like, in terms
do they allow you to work outside of the residency too?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, I haven't talked like super in depth with them about all the details about everything yet. I don't start till like end of May.
Well, because the artist, like we found out, or I mean, from what I see, she's like up in a penthouse suite. When I think residency, as far as a painter goes, I think first floor, as guests check into the hotel, they see you working on a piece.
Yeah.
All that stuff. And that's not the case with that. So it's like navigating all the difficult conversations that a creative is not probably used to, like things like money, like where am I placed, all that stuff. So yeah, that's exciting. But it is stable income in a way.
Yeah, that's why I had the realization, like, I should really be trying to pursue these. But in terms of collaborating, I mean, there's plenty of people that I've come across that I've would love to. An example that came to mind, Joe Freshgoods.
He's was he sneakers or merch or?
He's well, both. Like he did a collaboration with New Balance, and where he's done multiple, and he had it was called Fat Tiger, his store in Chicago. I think it's closed now.
Streetwear,
but like in 2019, I had gone to, because he had this shirt, like this thing. It was called Dope Boy Magic or something like that. So I remember in 2019, I had gone to one of his pop-ups, because he was just like someone in the city, a big figure in the city, that my videographer at the time was saying like, oh, we should try and get in contact with him. So we like went to a pop-up, and like I was just doing magic for people standing in the line of his waiting to get in.
Yeah. You're opening up your own doors, George.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. And talking to him, and it's like, oh, like I'm a magician. Like I would, when I met him, I was like, I'm a magician. Like I would love to like work at one of your events or like perform for like the people in line. Like that's what we were doing. So it'd be like cool to like collaborate with, big. And that's kind of people that I've targeted, like in the city in Chicago, like those people, those influential figures in the city that would be great to connect with.
Imagine Cindy's Rooftop.
Cindy's Rooftop.
Yeah, it's on top of the Athletic Association. It's a hotel on Michigan Avenue. So from the rooftop, you can see Millennium Park. All right. Imagine performing up there for people, and they're sipping on cocktails, and you're just up there doing your thing.
Yeah.
And there's it's usually open to the public, but people have private events up there, so it's a cool venue to get into.
Yeah.
So I wonder, just think about like, who is your gatekeeper? Who can grant you access into that space?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Like, that's I've never heard of Cindy's Rooftop, but
it's one of the go-tos.
Okay. So, but I know some spots that are, somewhat equivalent to that or like similar.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's one thing, because I've sent so many DMs of, people in the city in Chicago of just like, saying like, oh, like I'm a magician, like, I would love to like work with you in some type of way or like perform at your events or something. And I'm just like, shooting my shot at.
How many times have you shot your shot? Yeah. How many times have that happened? So how many no's versus yeses have you gotten? or even no is equivalent to ghosting, right? So how many of those have you gotten compared to yeses?
Probably.
It's probably different from
in the beginning, definitely a lot more, just like no responses.
Yeah. So how important is your, portfolio, right? Your feed, your social media feed, all that stuff. It matters to put yourself out there, and you have proof of what you can provide.
Right. Yeah. So I had very limited proof, starting out.
Gotcha.
But now I don't think there's any more not responding, because now it's like
you've piqued their interest.
Yeah, it's like I've performed enough and met enough people and been connected with enough people who have influence, where it's because now it's when you go on someone's page, you can see followed by so and so.
Yeah.
If someone you follow follows them, it'll
Mutual
say followed
friends,
by and so now it's I've got a lot more content on my social media and know a lot more people. So now it's just by seeing that, this person follows him, it's oh, okay, so this person knows him. Okay, this person, okay, this person knows him. So that helps for credibility. But all you have to do, I send my videos out. It's if you just watch my video, you'll know it's legitimate.
Yeah.
But so now it's a lot more. At least I'll think about it, or yes, because now it's I've gotten to a better point of knowing people and putting out the content and being a better.
At the same time, people are inquiring, right?
Yeah. So that was one thing I wanted to mention. So what really helped me, which was a game changer for me, that really changed my life with performing, is this app that I came across. It's called Bark, and it's based in the UK. But what Bark does is it connects you with people who provide the service that you're looking for. So what it is, so for me, when I got on, so I set my radius. So I have a 50-mile radius set in Chicago and Detroit. And when people are looking for a magician in that radius, you get a notification. It says so-and-so is looking for a magician in Chicago. So-and-so is looking for a magician in Elgin. So-and-so is looking for a magician or whatever. And then I can respond to that person. And this is how the app makes their money. You have to buy credits, and you use those credits to reach out to people. So corporate gigs will be worth more credits. So it'll be 12, 16 credits. And then maybe regular parties will be 6 or 7 credits. But I started using this app, and I've gotten so many performances.
Is that just people are using Bark more often than Craigslist?
Well, I think what people find, so for a magician, people will search magicians in Chicago, and I think Bark is one of the first.
I've never heard that app
that come up. Yeah, a lot of people haven't.
I gotta look it out. Okay.
Yeah, but even for you with photography,
really? Okay,
it might be something useful for you for photography if you wanted to do it. But I've gotten so many gigs through that app, and all of most of those gigs have led to other ones, and then those have led to other ones. Bark is probably responsible for 200 gigs that I've had.
Wow.
I swear, it's game changer. When I say it changed my life in terms of performing, it really did. So how did that? Oh, because you said people inquire.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's kind of me reaching out to them. When I get there, when I see that they're looking for a magician, then I send them. I have an email drafted,
sure,
already that I send
templates
to all my clients.
Yeah.
And I send the email out and I text them, and I find that if they just watch a video or just check me out, they they want to go through with it and book me. So, and then from those gigs I get more, and from those more. So that was something that really was a game changer. I don't know if I'd be doing magic full time right now if not for Bark.
Wow. So how did you come across Bark?
I was getting summer 2019. I just started getting. I think I started. I don't know what I did that let them get my email, but I just started receiving emails about it, and I thought it was a scam type of thing for the first month or so, I was getting those emails. I'm like, Bark,
First
what is
5
this?
emails.
Yeah. I'm like, what is this, Bark? But we finally looked into it, and it was legit. And I tried it out, and
Cool.
man, like
Okay.
some of the biggest connections I've made has been through that
Really?
app. Yeah.
I'll look into it.
So, but that was something that helped me a lot. Just to say the importance of bringing that up. That was, and for anybody who's has a creative profession or whatever, like maybe something that you want to check out.
So we're already halfway pretty much through 2022. For the rest of the year, is there any part of your persona or set routine or anything in the back end that you really want to hone for this year?
In terms of
whether that's social media, whether do you feel like you're stretched thin? And if you are, where would you like to put more of your weight?
So the
effort.
So the main thing that I'm like really, really focusing on, which I kind of touched on earlier, is the consistency of putting stuff
So
out.
manifest something right now. So what do you want to hold yourself to?
For YouTube, at least one video a week.
Yeah, that's often.
Yeah, at least one video. Multiple would be great.
But the community on YouTube is tight knit. It's there.
Yeah. So when I was posting, there was a stretch of time last summer where I was posting pretty consistently. I started building like that little community, like those people that would watch every video and would like comment, and I started getting that, and then I kind of fell off. So like for YouTube, like post like social media, consistently posting like at least a video a week on YouTube, like 2 posts a week on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and with TikTok, I'm trying to put stuff on TikTok as often as I can, because the TikTok algorithm is like so like it's so interesting how it works. It's like if you're posting like
lots of
every
strangers
day,
will just stumble upon your stuff.
Well, and you'll blow up. Like there's so many people on TikTok that have millions of followers on TikTok, or hundreds of thousands of followers, and then you look at their Instagram and they've got a couple thousand followers on Instagram. Like TikTok I feel like has changed a lot of people's lives, like really
amazing
work. So I'm trying to put stuff out on TikTok as often as I can. If I could do one a day on TikTok, like I've just got to like sit down and make like 12 TikToks and just put one a day out, like like it's. So that's a big thing. Consistency on social media is up there.
Yeah.
Another thing is the consistency of performances. I perform pretty often now, but I would love to get to the point where I'm doing 4 or 5 performances every week.
How far out does someone need to book you for?
I mean, it could be months or it could be days. Someone as long as I'm available. Someone has hit me up 8 hours before and was like, "Hey, I know this is last minute, but are you available?" And if I'm not doing anything, I'm gonna take it. Like,
sure.
like I'm available. So, obviously, in advance would be better, to guarantee. But if I'm not busy and someone hits me up 5-6 hours before they need me, like I'm gonna do it.
Right.
But so the consistency on social media, trying to increase the consistency of performances, which I think those two things will kind of go hand in hand, like help each other.
Yeah.
Because
it's probably tough finding an editor you trust.
Yeah, that's the other thing. And when I did have an editor that was editing the videos, it was still time consuming because I was sitting down with him and just telling him, like what to do.
Oh no, it's got to be hands off. That's the tough part, is finding someone you trust so you can continue doing your thing while they do their thing.
Right. So that's the other thing, like, because I edit in a certain way, and there's like certain things that I would like, certain things that I wouldn't put, or like with magic, it's difficult. It's a little difficult because I perform for people, so it's everything is clean and everything is great from their perspective. But if you've got like a camera in the wrong angle or whatever, it could come out completely different on camera. And so that's why I was like sitting down with him and I was saying like, all right, like don't use this, like, you know, can you like do this, and like, you know, like it's different when you're editing magic videos and the way that you know, I edit them. Or I think even David Blaine, if I had to guess, or not even guessing, I know, like,
there's some camera work going on.
Yeah,
there's some editing work.
Yeah, he's very particular about that, and I know he sits down with them and like tells them, like, you know, whatever. But I wasn't able to do that. You know, I started using learning how to use Premiere.
Yeah. I remember you getting the new MacBook Pro and stuff like that.
Yep. And I got the camera, and I remember you replying to that, because my computer beforehand was very old, so it couldn't handle like 4K footage. It would always crash, and
oh
so
my God.
Yeah, so I got the new computer, and now everything's super smooth, and, you know, I really started learning how to use Premiere and, you know, editing, and, you know, so but yeah, so consistency in social media, consistency of the performances, and or increasing the consistency of performances, and also, you know, getting in front of, you know, those people that could you know, really help propel me, you know, with a platform and an audience, which it's kind of annoying to do, you know. Like, I know when I get to the point where, you know, I'm a lot more established and like well known, and I'm like, you know, kind of doing everything and really, you know, into it, and you know, doing my thing on a very consistent level, and you know, I won't need to like seek that out, you know. But, you know, it's you know, like things like that, like getting in front of that right person or someone with a lot of influence is potentially like a game changer for me. You know, because like it was with Chris Lofton from Power, like him like finding me on Instagram, and he's such a cool dude. Like, I don't know even what the chances of like someone like him with an like influence would.
No idea that anything like that would have happened.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So like even developing a relationship with him has like helped me out so much with just him putting me in front of these people, and, you know, trying to. So, you know, but like I said, I think when I'm, you know, at that level where I don't need to do that, like I won't, because, you know, like I said, I don't get any more enjoyment performing out of someone that's
David Blaine's like last series, just like performing for a bunch of celebrities in their homes.
Yeah.
Right? Isn't that chill? Yeah. Whereas it's like you're not seeking validation anymore. You're kind of doing it because you're friends with them, and you're just
and they're gonna want to do it because you're David Blaine, you know. So I would love to get to a point like that where I can just go into celebrities' homes and, you know, just do magic. But, you know, at this point, you know, I'm, you know, just trying to get in front of, you know, those people, really good people to get in front of that could help, you know, really propel me upwards, which, like I said, I'll be happy when I don't need to do that. Yeah, because it's
interesting. So I imagine if the opportunity presented itself, but you weren't ready, but it seems like you are ready whenever the opportunity does present itself.
I will always be ready. That's the one thing. Like, I was like, I'm no matter where I am, like, I'm always ready to perform. Like, because I don't want to be caught unprepared if I'm just throwing the name out. Will Smith walks in and he's you know, chilling and just not, you know, like I need to be ready for those situations. And there's been so many times where I ended up performing in an environment that I didn't think, you know, I was going to perform in. I wasn't there to perform, but I did, and that led to this, and, you know, that led to now this person wants me to fly out here, and, you know, so it's like chefs doing like private dinners for people, but like, and they get flown out, they get put up in a place, you know, so all that, and just to cook a private meal for someone. Yeah. And the same thing can happen to you too. It's just like they loved your performance here that they want, and they were on vacation, and it's like, you know what, I want you to come into my home because I'm hosting a private event. Yeah, that actually just happened like a few days ago. I did a performance at the it was like a corporate thing at the Trump Tower like a couple months ago, or maybe a month ago, and this guy who was out of town, lives in California, was there, and he saw my performance, and then he hit me up later and was like, hey, like, I really loved your performance, like, can I have you come down to he's in Sacramento. Can I have you come down to Sacramento and perform in July and da, da, da. So like those things happen. Like, you know, it's happened before where, you know, I've been in an environment where I didn't expect to perform, but I was ready to in case, and you know that led to a really good opportunity.
Okay. Side note, being the hustler that you are, has it been difficult to maintain a personal life? Or are you able to discern boundaries?
So that's an interesting question. No. I So and people would never know, but I'm kind of an introvert outside of performing in a sense. Not so like I'm always like looking to perform, like I'm always would love to, you know, get in front of people and perform, but I'm a very to myself type of person outside of performing.
Yeah.
Which, you know, if you're, you know me and, you know me outside of being a magician, then you know. But so, you know, I'm not really.
You're not really interested in that.
Yeah, well, I'm not like really like, you know, going out like just to go out. Like I'm, you know, like if I like go somewhere or you see me like somewhere in public, like at an event, like I'm there on a mission. Like
I know.
I'm trying to like.
I feel like the lifestyle you're living would be tough if you had a significant other.
Well,
or even a dog or a cat, you know, or like a pet. Like it'd be a little tough.
Well, in a sense, yeah, because there's actually been an instance where, you know, I had a significant other of the sorts, and you know, I was, and you know, I'm been in hustle mode, you know, like, you know, trying to get out there, and you know, her not really, you know, understanding that, you know, not really.
That's tough.
Really getting it, and you know, that leading, you know, us to separating because she, you know, didn't just understand that I'm, you know, what I'm doing is so unorthodox, and I'm not, you know, and this was in 2019, so this was, you know, I was what I'm doing is so unorthodox, and I'm not in that stable place, so I've got to like go and get every opportunity I can, you know, and really work for it. And you know, I was super broke. Like I like there was I just didn't have the time for it, I guess. Like I tried it out.
Are you at a different point in your life where you would make more time, or are you still kind of more hustler mode?
Yeah, well, I'm definitely still in kind of hustle mode, but now I'm more established than I was in 2019. So now I've got a little bit more, you know, freedom in a sense now, where it's like
at the end of the day, can you honestly say that you are fulfilled and happy?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely.
That's the game then.
Absolutely.
Okay.
But it'd be a lot easier to maintain like, for example, a significant other, just because, like, you know, I'm not, you know, in 2019, you know, just starting out, you know, like not, you know, making any money from performing really. Like now I'm just like, okay, I'm performing a lot now. I'm you know, I've got some room to move around in, and you know, it's the me having like a significant other or something like that, or a dog or whatever, is more manageable, because I'm not like, you know, like, I mean, I'm still hustling, but I'm not like to the extent that I was in 2019, where it's like, you know, I don't have time for anything other than this. Like I've got to, you know, like you know what I mean? Like it's like I've got some
wiggle room.
Yeah.
I think it's drawing boundaries.
Yeah.
But in the line of work that you're in, it's just like it's also seizing the opportunities when they present itself.
Yeah.
So
most definitely.
Well, George, that was pretty much all I had. I think you did. You want to perform anything?
Yeah, I can show you a few things.
Let's do it.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Let's do some things.
What do we need? As long as you're 2 to 3 inches from the mic.
Okay. So can I move it like here?
Yeah, that's perfect.
All right. So we'll do this. Make sure you can see that these are all different, like they're not all the same card or anything like that, yes?
They are all different.
So here's what I do. I mix. I place one card in a specific location. So one card goes in a specific location inside, like so. These will go back inside the box. Now I'm committed to this. I'll leave these here. Victor, can you name any card out loud? Name any card out loud.
4 of spades.
Okay, if you're not sure, you can absolutely change, but it's up to you.
I'll stick with it.
Can you also name a number? We'll say up to 40. Up to 40.
37.
Okay, again, if you're not sure, you can absolutely change, but it's up to you.
I'll stick with it.
Okay, the deck has been here, yes?
Yes.
Do me a favor. Can you hold your hands together like so? Good. You're going to take all of these. Is the box empty?
Yeah.
You named a card. You said the 4 of spades. Out of all the numbers you could have named, you said 37. Now, remember I told you I put one card in a specific location, yes?
Oh, God, yeah.
I put the 4 of spades in the 37th position in the deck. Do me a favor. Can you deal, we'll say 37 cards face up in my hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. Stop. That's 37. And you said the what?
4 of spades.
I don't know. Let's see.
I'm like, are you kidding me, George? That's crazy. That is crazy.
Now it's possible that maybe that was a coincidence.
Oh, okay.
So it's possible. Maybe it was a coincidence, or maybe it was a long shot and I got lucky. It's possible. It's not likely. It's not likely, but it's possible.
Why don't you use your powers for the lottery, George?
I wish I could. So here, we'll do this. You know how to cut a portion from the top directly on the bottom.
Sure.
Can you take the cards? Can you give it a cut? Great. And then can you give it another cut? Great. And one more? Great. Now, can you hold the cards underneath the table with both of your hands?
Okay.
And you're going to do that exact same thing, a portion from the top directly on the bottom. Let me know when you're done.
Oh, what if I just dropped everything? No, it's good.
You got it?
I just cut it.
Okay, now you're going to take either the very first card or the very last card, first or last, leave it underneath the table. You can give me the rest of the deck. We don't need it. Good. And you're not even going to look. No one can see. Good. Do you agree that no one should know what card you have on? I mean, you don't even know, correct?
No, I haven't looked.
Okay. Now I want to show you this. And actually, I'll leave this here. Do me a favor. Can you think of a number between 1 and 52? Don't say it out loud. Just think of one. And maybe change it a few times. I mean, it's make sure this is random. I can't, nothing.
Yeah, got it.
You have a number in mind.
Yep.
You agree? I shouldn't know what this number is.
Nope.
Okay, for the first time, can you let everyone know the number that you have in mind?
28.
And that felt random, yes?
Yes.
And if you're not sure, you can change.
Nope.
I'll give you 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2.
28.
Do me a favor. I think, yeah, you have an iPhone. You've used notes before, right?
Mm-hmm.
In my notes, yeah, you can hit it. I have a note called the 52 cards. Can you hit that one? Uh-huh. And if you go through that note, I know they won't be able to see, but there's a numbered list between.
So let's see. Yeah, so there's a bunch of cards on here.
Numbered 1 to 52,
1
correct?
to 52, yeah.
And they're all different, yes?
Correct.
Now, you said 28, correct?
I did.
What card is at 28?
It's the 10 of diamonds.
So maybe if you had said 29, it could have been the 3 of hearts, or 25, 5 of diamonds, but you said 28, which is the
10 of diamonds.
Now, you took a card randomly underneath the table. You don't even know what card you took, do you?
No. I don't.
And you still have it.
Yes, it's in my hand, under the table.
Do you want to pull it out?
Yo! Damn it, George! That's awesome. That is awesome. That's crazy. It's like it's so it's like random.
Well, you did everything.
It's right. It's random on multiple levels.
Yeah. So I guess the odds, what is that? 1 in 52 you could guess, and then another 1 in 52. So I don't know, 1 in thousands of something. Maybe that could happen. Oh my goodness! But it's possible that maybe that was another coincidence.
No, George, I'm a believer.
Well, it's possible. It's slimmer chance than last time, but maybe, I don't know. So we'll do one last thing. Can you take the deck again?
Sure.
Can you cut a portion from the top into my hand?
Sure.
And you can put the rest on top. It's just a cut. You're right-handed, correct?
Yeah.
So you're going to reach in with your right hand, and you're going to grab a group of, we'll say 5 cards, all at the same time, like a little poker hand from whenever.
Wait, so just
yeah,
5?
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4.
So give one
5.
back?
Whatever. You can take whatever you want. Okay, good. Can you hold them up to your face so only you can see them? Good. And can you think of any one of those cards in your hand? Just think of one.
Yeah.
Okay. And if you want to change that group, you can. Don't say anything out loud. But if you want to change that group, you can. Do you want to stick with it?
Stick with it.
Okay. Do you have one in mind?
Yeah.
You agree I should not know?
Yeah.
Okay. But you do have one.
I have one in mind.
Okay. Can you take it and can you put it underneath the table? Sure. You can put them all underneath the table. Good. Good. And can you mix them? Great. And mix. Good. And can you repeat after me? Ace 2 3.
Ace 2 3.
4 5 6.
4 5 6.
7 8 9 10.
7 8 9 10.
Jack Queen King.
Jack Queen King.
Can you hold them up to your face so only you can see them? Focus on the card you've been thinking of and repeat after me. Clubs, hearts, spades, diamonds.
What? Clubs,
hearts, spades, diamonds.
Clubs, hearts, spades, diamonds.
Okay, do me a favor. Get rid of the 3 of hearts. Put it face up on the table. That's not the card you're thinking of. Neither is the 8 of diamonds. You can get rid of that as well. That's not the card you're thinking of either.
Oh, man.
Jack of diamonds. Drop it. That's not the card you're thinking of.
There's no mirror in here, guys.
Which leaves 2 cards in your hand, yes?
Yes.
And one of them you are thinking of, yes?
Yes.
This wouldn't happen to be a face card, would it?
It is.
Yeah. Can you get rid of the 5 of clubs as well? That's not the card you're thinking of. Which leaves 1 card in your hand. This is the card you've been thinking of. Can you show everyone the
I wish your face was on this.
The King of Spades, your card.
Are you kidding me? That's amazing. That's amazing, George.
So that's actually, this is one of David Blaine's decks. That's actually his face.
Oh, it is. Oh, no way. Oh, it is his logo. Oh, that's cool. That's amazing. Amazing, George.
Thank you.
I was blown away.
I also wanted to show you.
It's like I've seen these tricks a couple of times, but I don't know how you do it. It's just like you can keep blowing my mind.
I thought it would be cool to do the thing because I mentioned earlier that I do something where I have people repeat after me.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do that for him. Okay. But I also wanted to show you. You see my tattoo?
Yeah. Is that the fresh one?
Yeah. I just got this May 10th, 4 days ago.
Wow.
But it's my MUE. I don't know if they'll be able to see it. My MUE logo.
Yeah. It's kind of blurry. Can hold it up like right there. Yeah.
Maybe
awesome. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So, obviously, you know what that means.
Nice.
Magic unites everybody. It's, my favorite thing.
It's very true, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And to the point, it makes me really happy when I'm doing street magic for a group of people, and then another group of people will walk by and see what I'm doing, and then they'll come and watch, and now they're watching it together.
Is there something pure about not being paid for it?
Yeah.
Right?
I guess. Yeah. I guess I've never thought about it, but yeah, I mean,
we all gotta eat sometime, but I mean, there is something cool about like just doing something for the sake of doing it.
Yeah, and like I said, street magic is my favorite thing to do, and I don't get paid for street magic.
Right.
Sometimes I'll get tips and whatnot.
Right.
But yeah, it's. I think there's something pure about it, because I think anyone who sees that, it's like, oh, this guy's out here doing it. He's not trying to make any money off of it. Like, clearly he loves doing it. But yeah, I would agree with that. But I guess I've never thought about it. I just love street magic and performing and whatnot, and the content is very valuable to me. That's actually something that happened I didn't mention. That happened June 2020. I lost my hard drive.
Oh no.
So, and I didn't have much. I had some old stuff backed up, but the majority of all of 2019 and like the virtual shows that I started doing, I lost, which put me into a very deep state of depression for, I don't think I really got out of it until December of 2020.
Was that because, what got you out of it? Just more content, or?
I think, yeah. I mean, I think more content is a part of it, but also I think just over time, you start to, I was very unmotivated for a long time. Not to the point where I wanted to stop doing magic, but it was just like, oh, like I can't get out of this funk. Like, losing all that footage is like hurting me deep right now. And it was a lesson, though. I think it was supposed to happen, because now I've got
backups and backups.
Well, yeah, and now I've got footage that is way more valuable than that, and it's way better than the stuff that I lost. And if I were to lose all of this, I might have to go into like a psych ward or something like that. Like, it would be bad. So I think that was a lesson. I think it was supposed to happen, because now I've got my main drive, and then a backup to that, and then I've got it in the cloud too, which is you can't lose that. So it was a lesson that was, a very, very hard lesson. I was very depressed. That was the first time I've ever been depressed. Didn't think I could be depressed.
That's wild.
But, and it seems kind of silly. Like, why wouldn't I back it up? Like, and how it happened, I had put my hard drive on top of my car while I was putting stuff in it, and I forgot that I'd put it there, and I drove off. So for like literally
did you go back to look for it?
Yeah. So for 3 or 4 days, I was, going the route that I drove, which is, unfortunately, one of the busiest streets in Detroit. A huge street, very busy street. So the odds of me finding it were practically none. But I was looking, and then I think I stopped looking when it rained. It thunderstormed one day, and I was like, okay, that's it now. So that was something very traumatic for me, but I'm proud that I bounced back from it, and but those months, June to December of 2020 was the worst year of my life just for that, and there was some great things that happened that year with the virtual show and what that led to, but losing that drive was just a killer. It was a killer. But now everything's good. I've moved past it, and
I haven't experienced that yet, but I hear horror stories. Imagine shooting someone's wedding, and their memory cards fail, or they don't back it up, and their hard drives fail. Yeah.
I think it's happened to most people who film or do those things at least once, and I pray it doesn't happen. I don't wish that on my worst enemy. Like, that was like my mental state was just like, I don't ever want to feel that again.
For sure.
But it was, I bounced back from it, and took it as a lesson, and here we are.
Okay. So from the last 2.5 years since we've talked, any lessons or other takeaways we haven't talked about that you want to share to up and coming performers? And it doesn't have to be magic related. It can be confidence related. It can be communications related. Anything.
Yeah, I think one of the most important things for me over the past 2.5 years is really, I think not giving up is one for me. There's, especially with the situation that I just detailed, that was something that made me seriously think like, oh, I've got to start over. Do I want to keep doing this? And it was kind of like a test, like, how badly do you want this? Like, do you want it badly enough to, start over in a sense? And, so I think not giving up, and continuing to pursue, or whatever it is, obviously not applying the magic.
Yeah.
And continuing to pursue it, and in a sense, not having that plan B, like in the sense that you're
like, it's
you're
a pressure
really
cooker.
going into it.
Yeah.
But also, I'm trying to think what's a big one that's been a big one for me the past 2.5 years. Not giving up, and I think the reps,
Showing up.
Yeah, but also like, really.
Oh, so like behind the scenes.
Yeah,
like, okay.
yeah. Also, like really giving it all to whatever your craft is, and
So when the opportunity comes, you're ready.
Yes, yeah. I
Okay.
mean, you never know when an opportunity will come, and I think it's important to be ready, all the time. That's many times over the past 2.5
Sure.
years. That's been the case for me. So, but not giving up, and in a sense, not having that plan. It's okay to have a plan B. You should have a plan B, but the mindset, not having that plan B, And
Can you really go all in on something if you don't have a plan B, or if you do have a plan B?
That's a good question. I don't know.
It's I guess how you look at it. Like, I'm a photographer, but I don't do weddings full time. So then why would a stranger hire me to do their wedding if it's not my day job? I'm not all in on it, right?
Yeah.
So I'll miss out on some of those opportunities.
Yeah.
But the way I look at it is like, well, I don't need that income. So it's pros and cons. It's like, oh, I really would have liked to do that wedding, but I haven't put my reps in.
Right.
But then it's like, well, I mean, I don't need it. I mean, I would like to do it, but I don't need it. So it's like, it's how you look at it.
Yeah.
And how hungry are you?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And that was right. That, like I said, that was a big test for me when, I lost my stuff. It was like, how exactly as you said it, how hungry are you? How badly do you want it? Like, do you want it this badly enough to, pull yourself out of, this depression and keep going, or are you going to let this defeat you? And that's something my mom said. Like, she was like, oh, I know you're hurting right now. Like, I know how you feel. Like, I feel it with you, but are you going to let this defeat you, or are you going to bounce back from it and go on to do better things? And one of my friends, her name is Elise Swopes. Have you heard of her?
No.
Okay, so she's an artist, but I for a project in school, I had to interview some people, and I asked her if I could interview her. And actually, yeah, I think this was, or you know what? No, after I lost my hard drive, I called her because she's always been someone who has given me some good advice, and I was telling her about it, and she was like, yeah, this is, I know that's, a terrible thing, but, are you going to let it defeat you, or are you going to make this a part of your story and go on to better things from it? And I was like, that kind of clicked with me. She said, making it a part of my success story. She's like, are you going to make it a part of your success story, or are you going to let it cripple you? And I was like, yeah, I've got to make this a part of my success story. So, but yeah, so it's in terms of advice, not giving up, trying to strive or mixing up my words, not giving up and continuing to go forward no matter what difficulties, may come up and things that are trying to hold you back. And then, also just putting in the reps and really being committed to your craft and being ready for every opportunity.
Sure. Well, George, thank you so much.
Thanks for
coming on.
Of course.
I love everything you're doing. I love hearing about it. And it's hard to imagine where the next 6 months is going to take you.
Yeah.
But I know you'll embrace it, and I know you're going to take it head on, and we're excited to see where you go.
Thank you. I'm excited to see you too. I know I go to Dubai in December.
Are you kidding me? Oh my God. Go drive some Lambos for me and go kill it out there. Go get some, what was that, Salt Bay steak or whatever.
Oh yeah, that guy. Yeah, I'll send you that would be dope. I don't know if that's that restaurant, it's a little, but I'll be sure to send you a picture if somehow that happens.
Oh my God. Yeah, I know you still wear that hoodie from time to time. I love it. I love seeing that.
Yeah, that was like my go-to hoodie for a while. I mean, it still is, honestly. I haven't worn it as of recent because hot, warm weather.
Yeah.
But
No,
I was wearing that hoodie to all my performances. I swear.
It's cool to see.
Matter of fact, there's a video of me wearing it, performing in it on Instagram.
Oh man.
I think I sent it to you. It was a while ago.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. And how can they reach out to you? I think you said everything: Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, website.
Instagram, Facebook. You can go to my website, georgestantonmagic.com. GS Magic on Instagram. George Stanton Magic on Facebook. Any social media.
And Google soon. Get your ass on Google, George. All right, guys. We'll see you in the next episode. Later.